Good evening. Hand tonight is 9-8 of hearts. We have a limper here at villain 13. He's playing 20% VPIP with 11% pre-flop raise. This would be early position player for him. So his pre-flop raise here is, or his raise first in is 10%. VPIP is 16%. So I'm going to guess maybe about 5% of hands, 6% of hands he's going to be limping with. So we can kind of figure out what range that is by saying, let's say 16, and then we're going to take off top 9%. And kind of go from there. So that's kind of like an odd range. So how about we put in some of these smaller pocket pairs, smaller ace suiteds, maybe those. Oh, I do want these suited connectors, so let's take those out. Maybe those. Something suited like that. I think if we raise, he's probably just going to dump everything here. He's more likely to raise his better hands, and just for limping, he's got a really weak hand. Hoping to see something cheap, maybe something like that. So we have 9-8, but we are in mid position. So this is just kind of like my regular mid position raise. Oops. You'll see it. We'll be okay with that guy. But this is my mid position raise. He limped. I think we could probably add a few more. However, you have to pay attention to everyone else behind us, because if they think I can play, they may recognize that I might be making an isolation play to get up against this guy that probably has a weak range. I think if I just limp, we're gonna probably get a couple limps behind us. Now, does anyone look like they're willing to 3-bet? This guy, 17 hands, he's 3-bet 25% of the time. But that's only 1 out of 4, so maybe he had some decent cards at that point. But none of these other players where I have more hands really suggest high 3-bet, except him, 10%. So I guess if I raise and he 3-bets, then he probably has a legitimate hand. I don't think he's gonna see me as playing to isolate this player with a wider range. So I think a raise here is appropriate, and I think a raise here with this entire range is appropriate. Small blind calls, and then villain 13 folds. So let's look at the small blind here. He's playing 25% of the hands. He does not appear like he is very aggressive. He's played 27% of his small blinds. So we can say, let's say set up at just that. Let's take out the aces, kings. Let's add all the suited kings. Let's add more of these connectors. I think adding all the aces may be a little bit too much. That's 24%. That might be on the low side of things, but I guess we'll leave it there. His pre-flop call 2-bets is 4 out of 15. VPIP from small ones 32%, and he hasn't raised. This is probably okay. Maybe add those. Maybe the offsuits, possibly. All right, so we're heads up, and we see a flop of ace 9-7. All right, so he checks. He hasn't donk bet. I'm going to assume he checks his entire range. So actually, while we're at it, let's enter this in. That's my pre-flop range. Move this over a little bit. So I'm playing 16.4%. I have 218 combos in my range. This small blind is playing this range. He's playing I have him playing 24.6. and he's got 326 combos. The flop comes out ace of clubs, 9 of spades, 7 of hearts. And based on that, my range has 62.2% equity. His range is 37.8%. All right, he checks. Now it's on us, and the question is, what kind of hands are we going to play? I think this hits our range quite hard. Definitely have all the aces. I mean, Villain could also have all the aces, and that's kind of a problem, is that we have, since we don't have an ace, it makes it more likely that he could have an ace. So what kind of hands are we gonna bet? I do think we're gonna be betting top pair plus. Maybe not all of them. I think on this board, you might be able to get away with a ace king to check, but I think you've got a lot of middle cards, and I think he's going to be calling a lot. So I think our strategy is probably just to go ahead and bet all top pair, even like our ace 2 and ace 3, because I think a 9-10 is going to call, 9-8 is going to call, 7-8 is going to call, maybe even a 10 jack is going to call at least once, and we're going to get some value from that hand. If we check, yeah, he'll probably call, you know, with this 9-10 once, one more time, and then but then probably wouldn't call again. So I think we can get some value from all of our top pair. Same thing, I think, with pocket pair less than our top card. I think we could bet those kind of as values. Yeah, some of the times he calls will be beat, but I see a lot of hands that will be calling us. I think we bet our open-ended straight draws, our flush draws. Oops, let's see here. So these are our drawing hands. I think we could probably do backdoor flush draw as well. All of them. So any of the spades, any of the clubs, that gives us a lot more. So you can see that we actually have more value than we have bluffs. I guess we could pocket pair. You know, we could probably bluff with the 8s. These middle pairs. So like Jack 9, 10, 9, 9, 8. I think if we pick up equity with those, we could fire a second barrel. Are we betting with bottom pair? Yes, 8, 7, 7, 6. I think we could do that. I'm not sure if we're going to be betting these smaller ones. So it looks like we're going to be betting a large percentage of time on this board. Quite frankly, I'm not sure if that's the correct thing to be doing here. Yeah, we have equity, and we're probably going to be getting some folds, but we might not be getting enough. So let's see. I think if we bet, he's probably going to call all of these middle pairs, probably that pocket pair below second pair of the 8s. Bottom pair, I don't know. I think we're going to leave these gut shots, open end, and straight draws in. I don't really think 2-card backdoor flush is going to call, so I guess he's continuing 46%. He's folding 54% of the time, or approximately 54% of the time. So you can see that my betting range, yeah, I'm gonna get folds, but when I get called, you can see a big chunk of his range is this top pair, 40% of his calling range. So let's see what he does. So their flop range is that it's 46.3% is his calling range, and then that is 133 combos is what he has. Our flop range, get that over. It's that's 80.4, and we have 144. All right. So turn comes out. Oops, hold on. What is my bet? Yeah, so I see bet here, and he's gonna call. So that's what we're gonna work with. 9 of clubs comes out, and my equities range is now 50%. His equity range is 50%. So we are now like 50-50. And I think it's good we see this, because now villain bleeds into us. And before we talk about that, let's talk about what we would have done. All right, so had he checked to us, I think at this point, I don't think we're going to be betting all of our top pair hands. I think we are going to be checking some of our aces. I think we're going to be betting the smaller aces as bluffs. I think we are going to be checking these better aces. So ace jack, ace queen, ace king. I think ace 10 is still a little bit of value. I think I probably would prefer to have that in like my bluffing range here, because at this point we're trying, with these hands, we're trying to get weaker aces to fold, and that's, I don't know, maybe the ace 10 is not it. Maybe we're gonna just do the ace 9. So I think if we bet, we might get ace 10, ace jack to fold. If we bet with ace 2, we're hoping to get like ace 4, ace 5, ace 6 to fold. And I think we could get those fold with the strong bet, with the strong C bet. We're betting definitely 3 of a kind for value, straights for values, full houses for value. I think with our flush draws, we can still fire out those as some bluffs, but I don't think we're going to be able to do all of them. I think we've got 10-8. Here are going to be betting for value. Jack 10. I don't think 8-7 is going to be betting, or 7-6. So 5-6. I think it's basically these combos and the gut shots. I think are what we're going to be looking for betting for some value. I'm going to be okay. What I don't want to do with like the king queen of clubs is for us to bet, get raised, and then have to fold. I think we have enough equity with those to justify betting out. And open-ended straight draw, I think it's probably best just to check that along with the gut shots, so you can kind of see that of our continuance range, check calling or checking behind, we're gonna have 16% in our bluffs, and then the checks, you can see if he checks to us. Yeah, I think that I did that right. Yep. So 28% of the time we're betting. Here we're betting 41 value, 59% bluffs. Might be a little bit high on the bluffs, but I think we've got a decent set. All right, so now let's getting back to the hand. Oh, I should say, and if I bet, what do I think he's going to be calling here? I think he's probably going to call with most of his top pair, probably not all of it. I'm going to see ace queen, ace jack is probably calling. Ace 10's maybe one of those iffies, but I'd like to think that ace 2 to ace 8 is going to be folding. He does. He folds C bets 33%, 0% on the turn, 100% on the river. So it's possible that he's calling. Yeah, I mean, he may call with all the aces and then fold to a third barrel. That's a possibility. But I think if we bet, he's definitely continuing 66.4% of the time here. So if that's what he's continuing, and that is our betting range, you can see that we still have a slight edge going into the river. Now, what is he going to bet here? He's betting all in here for 22, which I think is fine. I think he can do this. I don't really think he's going to be doing it with full house. Maybe with the 3 of a kind. But I really think this is kind of like a flush draw, open-ended straight draw, maybe a gut shot. No. Flush draw, open-ended straight draw. I think that he's hoping to get us to fold. I think it doesn't make sense for him to bet that strongly with the full house. Why bet? Why not just check and call? I do think maybe 3 of a kind could bet like this, and the top pair could bet like this, thinking maybe I don't have an ace and just try to get me to fold out. Pocket pair below the top card. I think that's too risky. Uh, too risky a play. So let's look at this. If he bets with that range, having the pocket pair below the top card, then what kind of cards can I call with here? Let's clear this out. Okay, so I need 34% equity to call. I think probably top pair, flush draw, open ended straight draw. I think I'm definitely getting that call. What about the gut shots? I don't think the gut shots are justified, our call. So just if we do, let's see here. So flush draw, we need 38%. We only have 28%, so the flush draw is probably out. Open ended straight draws out. Is it all the flush draws? I don't know. Let's see. 10-8. So 10-8 has 35%. So that's like the gut shot with the open ended straight draw. That has equity, and that might be the only one. Let's see. Let's see, 10-8 here, all four combos. I've got 24%. Yeah, so I think I need the straight. What about top pair? If I call with all top pairs, I have 62%. Let's get rid of all of those and just say, what does ace 2 look like? So with ace 2, I'm at 45%. So yeah, I kind of think we're going to be calling with all of the aces, all the top pair. What about these? I don't think these are going to work. So even with kings, I've got 29% equity. I don't think we're getting it. We're getting the required pot odds to justify calling with these. I think he's going to have too many of these maybe top pair hands based on my read of the situation. That's if he has that pocket pair below top card. I think if we have, if we get rid of those, let's see what that ace 2 looks like. Now you can see I'm right at 30%. So it comes down to, is he willing to do it with like kings, queens, jacks, or is it only aces plus? I'm going to say something like that, and maybe not even all the aces, maybe just ace, queen, ace, jack, ace 10, trying to get, weaker aces out, or to try to prevent, club from coming in. Plus the draw. So if that's going to be his range, then I think we're going to have to look at it and say, let's get rid of our weaker aces. Are you ready? And only do. Okay, so I would take out. I'd probably call with ace king, ace queen. I think ace queen's cut off. I would call with those. So ace queen, ace king plus. I think it's just for value. I don't think I'm getting the odds to call with those flushes, but I've got value with all of those. So if that's my calling range and that's his calling range, then let's see what's going to happen here. So I've got this, that's his range, their turn range. It's 60.8%. We have 76 combos going through. Here we have my turn range, 29%. Got 40 combos. We were ahead, 80% equity versus them. I called tennis spades on that turn, or that river, based on our ranges. You can see that I still have the lead, so 75.4 versus 24.6, and we're all in, so no more betting. If he checks to me, well, I guess there is no betting. So if I was playing it out where I bet the turn and then he checked. I think I'm betting, I'm probably betting my nines, so trips plus. I think ace king I'm betting because I think ace queen, ace jack calls. Um, I think I'd be betting the straights. Um, I don't think I'm gonna be betting like ace jack or ace 10 because I think if I get called, I'm probably behind. So, all right. So let's see. He shows queen seven spades. I know I don't have that in his range, and really I didn't have it in his opening range. And when we talk about what he could possibly have, I didn't have it there because on the turn, I wouldn't have expected him to bet this bottom pair. And actually, I guess on the flop, I didn't have him calling bottom pair, but I guess once he did, and the reason I didn't think was because the ace was on the board. But if he does do that, then the turn kind of changes it, and I still don't know if I could see him leading with one of those bottom pairs. I mean, that's if he's doing that, then he's probably betting with all of those. I don't know, strange hands. I guess he was thinking that I didn't have a hand, that I didn't have the aces. I don't know. So I had the 9-8. I did have, trip nines. I think for this hand, it was probably an easy call. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. Look tomorrow for a couple more hands or for another hand.